your thoughts on inclusion? What would you define inclusion as in schools?
A place for everyone to participate in, a role for everyone to play and contribute their ideas and beliefs.
And what are ways that we can make our schools inclusive?
To create a common theme for the group, and we can get everyone participating or collect ideas in terms of creating a common goal to reach at the end of the project. That would be an ideal situation for me. For example, establishing a football team or making a farm, something like that, where everyone can participate.
Or like being aware of where your students come from as well, because inclusionary practices might not be the same across every classroom or location. So I think as a teacher, to incorporate inclusion properly, you have to really get to know who your students are.
Definitely.
And I think it's also important for the students to get to know each other and like get to know each other's backgrounds and where they're from and stuff, because every student has a different background and different history and stuff. So every student knows that they all have different experiences and live with different things on a daily basis. They'll be more inclusive, like they'll include each other more, be accepting of each other more. If teachers make that aware. That's what I think.
It's important for teachers to acknowledge their students and to say good morning and make eye contact to every one of their students and make them feel like they belong and that's a safe environment. And for the school to set up some kind of platform where students can come forward with things that make them feel uncomfortable in school, and people need to talk about that, and we need to create an environment where students can feel safe to even mention that they feel unsafe.
And I'm thinking, like, when you're talking about that, think about like accountability. I think it's something that we should talk about. Like if someone's being bullied, who's going to be accountable for that? We should hold kids accountable, or teachers and principals as well, if they say something that's inappropriate.
Actually, one of the most interesting things I think that teachers need to think about in terms of bullying and defining it is actually naming what it is the kids are doing, because like I find like bullying is such a, it can be anything from like a kid just poking another kid with a pencil to actually like physically abusing someone. So I think like the term bullying, like to have proper inclusionary practices, we actually need to say what the students are doing and to the extent of how they're doing it.
And to be more specific about that.
That's a good point.
It's such a lame definition. Bullying. What does the definition of bullying, and what kind of procedures that we're taking in order to prevent what's going on? When I did my practicum, I had two students, one bullying the other, and both of them they were in gifted class, and then the teachers they didn't know what to do because both of them are gifted, both of them are good students, except that they would talk to that person, oh, just don't talk like that to the other person, and then that's about it. But the problem is there, it wasn't actually resolved, it was fully resolved, it's still in there. The other child, he still felt that he's being abandoned, and I don't know, like we need a clear definition, a structure for that, procedures.
I think we all agree for sure that inclusion is important in creating community, and just having an inclusive classroom promotes self-esteem and motivation to learn and good personal relationships. But what do you do when within your classroom the students have a valid reason for not wanting to include somebody in their group work? Like if that person is a bully, or if the person is just, and this is more with higher grades, a slacker, and there's something on the line, like your group wants to do well. How do you include the people that are giving people a good reason not to want to include them? How do you combat that?
Like we have so many good reasons to try to include people, but bottom line, there's still people being excluded, and like how does that still happen even though we have all these good intentions of trying to include as many students as we possibly want or can, but yet there's still students out there that feel threatened, that feel kind of left out, and even with everything that both teachers want to try to do.
I feel like maybe promoting more discussion, like a lot of like there's a lot in schools that's just like left unsaid, especially in terms with like group work. I feel like a lot of kids feel like, oh, if I go to the teacher, then I'm being like a tattletale, or they feel like they're gonna get, I don't know, the word is like,
Snitch.
yeah, or like, I don't know, it just feels like going against like the school code of the classroom. Whereas I feel like if there was more open discussion, like if you could bring a problem to a teacher and actually have that teacher maybe facilitate like, what's the problem with the student, and like maybe you'd have more compromise. Does that make sense?
I think it's important for teachers to address it. Teachers know what's going on in their classrooms. They can tell what's happening. They can overhear conversations that students are having, and they shouldn't ignore it and turn a blind eye. They should address it, sit the group down, and address the issue, and make people accountable for their work.
I'm just thinking when you're talking about like if group work there's someone who's slacking off, I think what I would do is I would talk to the group and say, you know what, I'm going to assign roles and you're doing this, and give them a specific role. That might be a solution.
Or maybe create a hope, or make the outcome very very obvious for the students to see. Something that it will motivate them to be included in that particular project or in that particular task that they need to tackle. For me, the driving force is to be enthusiastic about something, create that atmosphere, so everyone, okay, this is something I can do. Oh, this is something that I'm very good at doing, and create a culture like that. That's what I.
Yeah, like play on everyone's strengths, pretty much. Like
Exactly.
as a group, decide like who's best at what, or who wants to do which part, but everyone has to do something and has to be included in the project or whatever it is. But yeah.
Tough topic.
Yeah, did you guys have any experiences like on your practicum of students not feeling included or anything like that?
I did have one like you mentioned about the group work, and I had groups of 4 having to do projects. 2 of them were very on it, 2 of them weren't doing it. So that's why I came up. My associate teacher told me you're going to have to assign them roles. That's the best way to do it. So you're doing the sign, you're doing the graffiti wall. You know, that way they know what they have to do, and that actually works a lot better if you assign them roles.
Yeah.
So I found that works for that one.
And I did have some issues with bullying, but it was so cute. There was a grade 5 girls, their names, it was put in on the girls' bathroom.
Oh.
And all the girls in the class, like they were chatting, and then they came to me and they said that we've been bullied, our names is on the walls of the bathroom. And I at the beginning, like I was trying to think of a logical solution, what to do. If I went and I complained, then I'm going to complain against the whole class, and they're just a bunch of scared kids. So I said, okay, we're going to go out there, we have to clean the washroom, and then erase all the names, and it's not going to happen because there are some cameras, and there are people who saw the person who actually did it. But what happened is, like, they asked someone to erase it the following day, and then, like, it never happened again, but it was so cute.